what we call extraterrestrial actually is not extra anything, because it's just sharing our own reality on different dimensions, on different levels.
Yeah, I prefer to use the term interdimensionals for that reason. And this force that I'm saying is manipulating our world operates overwhelmingly outside of the frequency range that we can decode. Because that's its state, that's its vibrational state, basically. That's that you know, what you're vibrating to, you experience. I mean, you know, it's like a radio. If you tune it to radio 1, your experience is radio 1, because that's the frequency you're tuned to. Move the dial to radio 2, now your experience is radio 2. But if you're on radio 2, you cannot experience radio 1. It's a different frequency. It's real simple that way. And so to manipulate our reality, this force, which very much takes a reptilian form, among others, but actually in the end goes out of the realms of form into realms of pure awareness, it needs to manipulate our world. It needs people, if you like, human body computers, within this frequency range, so it can manipulate us by controlling the banking system and all this stuff. And thus, this is where these hybrid bloodlines come from, which the ancients all over the world talked about, the creation of these hybrid bloodlines. And these hybrid bloodlines became known in the ancient world as the demigods, part human, part gods, as they were perceived, because there was a genetic creation which in one level has human genetics, but has a massive infusion of reptilian genetics. And these are the bloodlines that run the banking system, the political system, own the media, and all that stuff. And this is where the whole theme of royalty comes from, an aristocracy. The idea of the divine right to rule, which is what? The right to rule over people because of your genetics. I mean, 2 hours from here in London, we have a head of state, Queen Elizabeth, who is only head of state because of her bloodline, her genetics. The ancient Chinese emperors used to claim the right to be emperor because of their genetic connection to the serpent gods, and so on and so forth. It was this hybrid genetics that this whole royalty aristocracy stuff all over the world came from. And when, obviously for a long time, the aristocracy and the royal families of the world ran the show. But then when people started to rebel against that obvious dictatorship, these bloodlines moved, some of them still are, like the British royal family, big time, but they started to move out of overt royalty and aristocracy and into the professions of banking and politics and business and all the rest of it. And they've gone on controlling and manipulating ever since. So they've created a political system that allows them to put into power basically whoever they want now, through this illusion of democracy. But these dark suits are actually, they still perceive themselves, even though it's now covert, as special bloodlines, you know, who are above everyone else. And while some are overtly doing that, like the British royal family, the Spanish royal family, most of them are operating under the radar in society in general, but they're still the ones who are the hybrid representatives of this force, these entities that operate outside of human sight. And just a very quick analogy. When scientists are working with something that's too dangerous, that they can't directly interact with it, you'll see them put the material in a tank. They'll stand outside the tank, and then they'll put these long gloves on to work with the material in the tank. Well, if you take the scientists to be these entities operating outside of human perception, you take the tank to be our reality, and you take the gloves to be these bloodlines, that are representatives within this reality of this force. That is basically the dynamic, the association between them.